Okay, in this video we're just going to quickly go through how you can change the colors on an SVG file. So in this example we've just got a couple of logos and we're just going to change the color of them. And if this is something that you do a lot, the easiest way to do this is going to be to get yourself a program like Illustrator or Affinity Designer, but we'll cover how to do it without any paid programs sort of after this bit. So essentially, you know, if you're using something like this, you can just jump in, you can highlight what you want to edit, and it's as simple as just going in and, you know, changing the color to whatever it is that you want. So, you know, just coming in, change the hex value, and that will change it on here. So, you know, it's made really easy by Illustrator, or like I say, you can use Affinity Designer, those types of programs. But for those of you who've just got like a one-off edit to make on an SVG file, and maybe you don't want to spend out the money on like a program like that, what you can actually do is, if you jump into an SVG file, it's essentially built up from lines of code. So if you right click on it, what I'll do here, I'm going to use Sublime Text. This is a free editor. Don't be too concerned about looking at this. We're not going to, you know, do any coding or anything. It's pretty simple. But I'm using Sublime Editor. But what you can actually do, if you don't have anything installed, you can even open this with Text Editor or whatever the equivalent is on PC, and it will just open up like this. So the reason I open it up in a text editor is just because it's easier to read, and it's less, you know, it's much easier when it's not in black and white. But essentially you'll come across a few different versions of SVGs. So this one here is using what's called, we've got CSS styles here in the styles sheet. So our original logo is logo flat, and you can see here it's this kind of bluish color. And what we'll do is we'll come back in here. What you will need to do, you'll need to know some basic hex values. There's plenty of websites out there like hex color checkers, but I'll cover some basic ones. So, you know, all Fs, so 3 Fs or 6 Fs is always white. 3 zeros or 6 zeros is always black. So you can have a sort of a shorthand hex code, which is 3 characters, and you can have one which is like a longer form, which is 6. You basically, in here you can kind of see we've got just 2 different colors that are being used. It's always the fill that dictates the color of the object. So you can always go through, have a quick search for all the fills. You can see here we've got this one. These are just sort of values around it, and then we've got this one. So this is white, so it's not that one. This one here is, I know off the top of my head, that is essentially a blue color, so it's that color there. So we can change that. Like I say, you'll either need a hex value if you're using brand colors or something like that. You'll probably have it or know what it is. Or there are some shorthand, you know, kind of codes that you can use in this, but they're CSS values. Again, you can look those up. I'll leave links to kind of these bits, but essentially, let's say, for example, we want to change it just to be black, which is what I'm actually doing here. So like I say, we can do 3 zeros, and then when we reopen it, you can see now it's black. Or we can go back, I won't make it white because we won't be able to see it. 333 is grey, so you'll be able to see it's sort of an off grey. It'd probably be easier actually if I do 999, that'll be a light grey. There you go, so you can see it's light grey now. So essentially we've just edited that just with one simple line of code. So I actually want it to be black, so I'm going to keep that as that. You might come across different ones that look a bit different to that, like this one here. It's a similar SVG, but then you can see you've got all of this at the bottom. Essentially, a lot of that is just preserved capabilities for editing for a program. In this instance, this is Illustrator. You know, just some Illustrator commands in there, so you can go back and edit it. But it's the same situation. You know, you've got your fill up here, and it's all doable through that. There are quite often variations as well of this. So if we come into this one here, You can see in this one, it's all SVG and there's no kind of CSS lines in there, but we can still find what we're looking for. If we just do, on this, it's Command and F, or, you know, if you're on a PC, Control and F, just to find something, you're just looking for the word fill. Again, you can see we've got fill none here, so it's not going to be that. Fill 00 here, so that is going to be a black fill. If we just go back to this image, we can see it is a black fill, so that's the one we want. This one here is white, so it's not that. So again, we can change it. I'll use the shortcode in there. I think we can use pink, so let's give that a go. You can see there, it's pink. If we do red, you can see now that makes it red. Now, when you're using the shortcodes, you'll just have to make sure that you're taking away the hash from the start, because if you use the hash, then it's just going to be an error and you won't see anything. So if that happens, you've sort of just made that mistake there. So like I say, you can use the hash, but you have to use an actual hex code behind it. So if we use that, you can see again, we've got gray, change it to zeros, we should have black. You can see we've got it there. And you might possibly, the time when they're most difficult to edit is when they've been broken apart into lots of layers. So the only time when this is not that easy is when you've got a file like this. So you can see it's the same logo, but what's happened is you've got the fill. So if we search for fill, in the others we had maybe 1 or 2 kind of fills. You can see here we've got quite a lot and they're all the same fill color, which essentially means that we've got different, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, on this it's different letters, but it basically means that the illustration is broken up into lots of different parts. So for example, if I change this and just make this pink, so it's sort of differentiated, I think that will change the A. Is it the A? Oh no, it's the bottom of the I. Okay, so yeah, you've got all different parts of it are all broken up. So if you change one, it's not going to change the whole thing. So to get around that, again, I'm using Sublime free program. You can actually do Control or Command D, and it will highlight all of those. And then any edit you make to one of them makes it to all of them. So I can replace that with 0, 0, 0, hit save. And then you can see everything has turned black in there because it's changed everything that was originally blue. And I've still got everything highlighted there, so I could take all that away and I could say, actually, I want it pink, or, you know, whatever it is you want to do. So again, it's not overly complicated. I appreciate, you know, you might be looking at this thinking, I just don't know what any of this kind of code is. But really, it's, you know, you're just changing the value in this fill equals, and you know the basic code of it is it's essentially, you know, you've got fill equals and then you've got two quotation marks around it. You're just editing this bit on the inside, and like I say, if you're using a hex color, make sure it's got this hash in front of it. If you're using a standard color like pink or blue or gray or whatever it may be, just make sure that is actually a CSS color and it's, you're not just kind of making it up. I'll put a reference in the description so you can kind of have a look through those. Like I say, more often than not, you just want to change it to white or black or, you know, to a brand color. So it's usually fairly, you know, you kind of know what this is going to be. And like I say, for the more complex ones, using a code editor has just got that kind of additional helpfulness in the fact that you can do these multiple selections and you don't have to go in and edit each one every time, because here, you know, you can see we've got 12 matches down here, so I'd have to go through and add that in 12 times, and then there's the risk of it kind of, you know, going wrong on one of them, deleting a quotation or something like that. And you know what you can do if you're worried about breaking the file, you know, just duplicate it, and then you've got your working file there, and you can just kind of come in and you can do what you like on this other one, just kind of come in and start doing your edits and things. But as I say, it's just one of those ways. If you just got one SVG file that you just need to update the color of, and you don't want to go into paying for software and doing all that kind of thing, it's a nice easy way to kind of just come in and do it. Like I say, it can be a little bit daunting, but at the end of the day, it's just an image file, and you haven't really got that much to lose in editing the code in it. So yeah, hopefully you found that helpful. You know, if you've got any questions, just drop them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and please subscribe.